there, it's Carol with Carol B Crafts. Today we'll be doing card number 4 in my online class, my Carols of Christmas online class, which is available through December 3rd, 2017. Now, if you haven't already gotten the materials from my class, you can get them by purchasing them, or you can get them by as a customer reward gift from me with a qualifying purchase from stampinup.com. using the current host code on my blog, www.carolbcrafts.com. The class includes all the materials that you need to do the 6 cards that you see here. And this is the one we're doing today. So I'll clear these others away that you can look at real quickly here as I take them away. Now, the card we're doing today is relatively simple, but it has an elegant look to it as well. And then let me tell you where these come from. The sentiment on the front, Peace on Earth, comes from the Carols of Christmas stamp set, which is the stamp set that we use for mostly for the class that we're doing. And then inside, the Christmas wishes from across the miles comes from the Holly Berry Happiness. Now, the Holly Berry Happiness coordinates with this punch, the Holly Berry Builder Punch, which is available through Stampin' Up. And then these card front builder thinlits dies coordinate with the Carols of Christmas. And this is a bundle here, so you can get the bundle and save 10%. So let's get started making today's card. This is the card kit that you'll get, and you'll need your little packet of glue dots that is included with the kit, and we'll put our envelope aside. Let's go ahead and take our Thick Whisper White cardstock and crease that fold. And then we have, this is going to look real familiar because this is how we've done for just about every card so far. We have our bottom base, then we'll do our stamping on these. These are 3 3/8 by 3 3/8 Whisper White. And this is 4 by 5 1/4 Old Olive. Now, if you're making this along with us and you don't have the kit, that's fine. At the end of the video, I will give you the dimensions and show you how I did this with the Big Shot, cutting out the windows here. So let's go ahead and do our stamping. Get that out of the way. Get our 3 3/8 inches squares of Whisper White. And we're going to use our Peace on Earth. And I have found that with these stamps, you really need to use Stamp-O-Majig because you have to stamp them more than one time to get a good solid image. And that's because it has a flat surface as well as detail. So let's get our Old Olive ink and ink up our stamp. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp it in the center. It doesn't have to be exact because we'll have a chance to position it to where we want it. Just get it as close to the center as you want, and you don't even have to get it even. Just get it in the center. We can always adjust it later when we put it on our card. So now I'm going to take my Stamp-O-Majig and put it in the corner here, up against my D block that I'm using. I'm going to lift it up, and that looks pretty good, but I would like it to be a little more filled in. So I'm going to ink up my stamp again, and then I'm going to hold this in place, and I'm going to put this in the corner and then go straight down and push this in. Give it plenty of time to soak that ink in. Okay, and now it's ready. So we'll go ahead and let that dry for a little bit while we finish doing putting our card together. So we'll go ahead and start with the bottom window layer, and that is the Old Olive layer. We'll get our multi-purpose glue, and we're going to do 1/4 of an inch of dots, 1/4 of an inch away from the center of the center square, and then we're going to come down here and do a few down in this area. We're going to take our white layer, which is the layer that goes on top. We want 1/8 of an inch of the Old Olive showing in the center. We're not worried about the outside. It doesn't need to, we don't need to worry about it being even. We just need to get that even 1/8 inch. And the glue will let you move it around if you need to. That looks good. Now we're ready to put on our top layer. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put 1/4 inch of dots of glue all around, 1/4 inch from the center square. Try not to get too close to the edge, like I just did right there. I'm going to get something and put some of that glue away from the edge there because I don't want it to run out. Now we're going to put our top layer on. Whoops, want to make sure you go in the right way. We want the Old Olive out, and it looks like I got too close to my edge there. So I'm going to get some of this, and I'm going to take some of that off, some of that glue off of there, and put it a little bit more towards the center. There, that's better. Now I'm going to get my paper again, and I can come back later and once that dries and just rub that off. So we want that 1/8 inch of white around the edge, and that looks good. So now I have my stamped piece, and I'm going to this time I'm going to go around the inside edge of this, and put this on top of here, and this is where you have some wiggle room. If you didn't get it quite in the center when you stamped it, you can always move it around to where you like the looks of it. And then we're going to put this with some snail on top of our 4 by 5 1/4 inch Old Olive. So let's do this. And I like to use quite a bit of snail to keep it on there. Well, and then I'll use my waxy strip. We want 1/16 of an inch all around the edges. That looks good. And now we're going to put this on the front of our card with some snail. And again, I'll use my waxy strip. And this time we want about 1/8 of an inch around of the white around the edge. There we go. It looks good. Now we're going to do this leaf and berry, and those are here. And this leaf and berry come from the Mayflower's framelits. This is cut with this die out of Old Olive, and this is cut with the gold metallic or gold foiled cardstock with this die from that set. So you have these two dies, and that's where these come from the Mayflower framelits dies. And the only thing that I will tell you is when you put, anytime you cut with the Big Shot, you cut the metallic cardstock, what you'll want to do is you'll put your plastic plate, then you'll put this, your cardstock, your die, that you want to cut it out of. And then you'll just put a piece of the thin regular Whisper White on top before you put your top plate on. And then that will keep your metallic cardstock from getting all scarred up from the creases and the cracks in the acrylic plates. So we're going to go ahead and put these on, but before we put these on, we're going to put some Wink of Stella. This is clear Wink of Stella that we sell, and we're going to just cover up our leaf with the clear Wink of Stella. It'll look dark at first when you put it on, but after it dries, the darkness will go away, and you'll just have the shimmer left. And we're going to put that on with glue dots. So get our card back over here and get our glue dots out. And I'm just going to put some here on the bigger leaves. I'm going to use, and I'm going to put one here, but I'm just going to fold it. And to fold it, you just do just that. You just fold it. And now it's smaller, so I can fit it behind this last little leaf down here. And we just kind of want it like a little bit up here, but not touching our letters. So this looks about right. And now we're going to do the same with this. We're going to put glue dots behind these. And I found don't pull up, pull away, and that way you have less likely to bend your die cut. And then this is just going to kind of go wherever you really think it looks nice, kind of right here, but you want these two ends to kind of meet at the bottom here. And I think I might actually put a glue dot down here to keep those down, but I'll need this to lift my glue dot off and slide underneath there like that, and tuck it in underneath there. That works good. Okay, now all we have left is our bow. And if your bow got some bends in it in shipping, you can just kind of work it out, try to work it out so that they go away. Now, we've done this before. To do our bow, we basically do a loop and a loop. And it's kind of hard to do with the smaller piece. And I'm hoping you can see this. So basically, we have loop and loop, like that. Kind of see how that is? Alright, so we're going to take our loop and our loop, get them even. Now this is easy for me. I don't know, maybe it's not easy for you. So now we're going to take the one on the right and put it over the one on the left, just like that, like an X. So this is where we're at right now. Then we're going to take this one and push it through this loop right here. With our finger, just push it through, and then we're going to come around and grab it and pull it. And then we don't want our tails to come through, so we have to adjust our tails as we're pulling it. And then we have our bow. And we can make it as small as we want. I go into a little more detail in a video I did earlier So this should look familiar to most of you. Okay, so we're going to pull this tight so that it stays in place. We need a little more on this side. Okay, so there's our bow. And now all we need to do is put this on with a glue dot. And it's going to go right there on top of the gold. And then we'll trim it with our scissors, whatever scissors you have. And there we have our card. Now I forgot to tell you that the inside is done with the Christmas wishes from Across the Miles. That is the from the Holly Berry Happiness. But you can put anything in there that you want, and you can still do that at this point. So sorry I forgot to tell you. So thank you for joining me today in making our card number 4 in our Carols of Christmas online class. And stay tuned if you want to watch how I made the windows. And I'll tack on that little short tutorial video for you. And otherwise, I will see you for card number 5. Bye now. Okay, I'm going to show you how I did the windows for the card. Now the old olive, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. The Whisper White, 3 5/8 by 4 7/8, the same size. And then the DSP that we're going to use is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And I'm going to use this video for 3 of the cards, so the DSP might look different, but it's the same process. Now the 3 largest dies in the layering squares framelets are what we're going to use, and we're going to use the largest die on the first DSP on the largest piece of paper. And we'll just put that down, and I'm using the magnetic plate, which makes it really easy to do this, but you can also use washi tape or regular tape to hold your die in place if you need to. So this is the top, and what we want is even spacing on all sides, and that looks about right to me. So I'm going to put my tape here on the metal and on the inside, not on the outside, because it will ruin your paper. Now, so we have magnetic plate, plastic plate, and then our die. And now we're going to put another plastic plate on and run this through the Big Shot. And then we can just tear this away like that, and we're done with this die. Now we're going to take the Whisper White, which is the next layer. As you can see, the Whisper White. Get our plate back here, and we want to put this so that it's even spacing along all sides here, and we'll hold that in place and then lay it down like that. Now we're going to take the medium, or the middle, second largest layering square framelit and put it inside that square. Now if you don't have the magnetic platform, you can use tape. You can use washi tape or regular tape. I'm just going to use regular tape, being careful not to get any on the paper. Now I can remove this, and I'm ready to run that through. So we're going to go ahead and run this through. Now it might look a little off, but that's okay, because we do have a little bit of wiggle room on the sides. It looks like there might be a little bit more on one side here than on the other. So then the next thing we're going to do is do the old olive layer, and those are the same size. So we're just going to lay this down like here on this top of our acrylic plate, get the smallest square of the 3 that we're working with and do the same thing. We're going to just put that down right there, and this time I'm not going to use any tape because I do have the magnetic. So I'm just going to hold that in place while I pick this up. And now I'm going to straighten that up just a little bit because it's kind of cockeyed, I can see. Okay. And now I'm going to put this plate on top and run it through. And you'll see that we have all 3 pieces here. We have the old olive, and there's a little bit of a frame that goes towards the front, and then we have the white, and we have the old olive, the DSP. So you do see you do have a little bit of wiggle room. If it's off a little bit, you still have some wiggle room, and even if it sticks over the edge like this when you're done, you can always just cut that. If you're off that much, you can always cut it. What's important is that the center, you have even spacing in the center when you put it on your card. So that's how you make the window, and like I said, same process for all 3 cards, so I won't be doing this video 3 times. I'll just post this to the end of each of the videos that does a card like this.